Hi everyone, my name is MDUDUZI. I am going to explain what is gender according to sociologists. In most cases, people used to confuse gender with sex. There is a huge difference between the two terms, gender and sex. Sex is just a physical difference between males and females. Now, let us look at gender according to sociologists in general. Gender refers to social and cultural differences that a society assigns to people's behavior and attitude based on whether they are males or females. For example, you can be a female physically, but not to find that you are a male. You are a male in terms of your behavior and attitude. The way in which you do things determines your gender, not your physical appearance. Your beliefs and roles you play in the society portrays your gender. Looking at the poster here, it further explains what gender is. Looking at this picture, this one, it's a female, or I can say it's a woman with kids, and this one it's a man. Then women are expected to be feminine according to sociologists. Then men are expected to be masculine. Men are expected to be protective towards their families, towards the women in the society. No women should suffer in the presence of men. Then women are expected to play a role that will be respectful to the women are expected to play a role of a mother and being a domestic worker. And men are expected to be protective and make sure that everything is in control at home, and even in the community, men should make sure that the neighbors do not suffer on their presence. For example, at home, our father he's the one who plays the role of bringing protection. Like at night when there is noise or that displays there's something happening around, he's the one who will go out to check whether everything is right. Then our mother is the one who makes sure that we have food, who makes sure that we are clean, the house is clean.
And I will be explaining the views of conflict theorists on gender. Conflict theorists assess that in the society there is a struggle for dominance among social groups that compete for power. For example, men versus women. Men have been conveyed as a dominant group, while women have been conveyed as a subordinate group. This means that men have power over women in terms of societal roles. For example, in my Zulu culture, a man is seen as an absolute decision maker, while a woman is merely taken as a domestic worker and a caregiver. Men can be viewed as bourgeoisie and women can be viewed as proletariat. Because bourgeoisie, which are industry owners, have power over proletariat, which is the working class. They argue that labor division or gender roles are not necessarily beneficial to society, but are there to maintain power of the dominant group.
Guys, now let us look at the pictures under conflict theorist view on gender. Alright, on this picture we can clearly see that there's a male and a female, and the male is holding a money container which is bigger than the money container held by a female. This clearly shows that the male in this picture is portrayed as being dominant, as he earns higher than the female, whilst a female earns less income. But it may happen that these two, they are holding similar positions in terms of occupation. Then looking at the second picture, we can see also that there's a different genders or different sex, but we can see that there's a cancellation of equal sign, which shows that according to conflict theorists, gender roles does not work. It doesn't cater for both genders. All right, looking at the third picture here, we can clearly see that there is a conflict going on here. As you can see, 3 males against 1 female. This shows the struggle that is presented by the conflict theorist, that there is a constant struggle against women and men. As you can see that a female is only 1 and 3 versus 3 men. This shows that these 3 gentlemen, they have power over this female, and they are pulling this rope in support of one another. That shows that they are going to overpower the women because she doesn't have support or power more than them. That's it.
Greetings to one and all. We are now going to pay particular emphasis on the functionalist view on gender. Function of gender in the society is to maintain stability and status quo of society as a whole. They firmly believe that gender started in the pre-industrial time when men worked outside the house while women stayed in the house taking care of the domestic activities. Everybody has a distinct gender role and is very functional and allowed stability and smoothing social operations. This fuels gender roles and gender norms in giving everyone a very distinct function and purpose in the society, and in particular in relation to their gender. Men and women and the roles and norms they are expected to uphold serve as specific functions that keep social structure running. They believe in intact nuclear family, which consists of a mother and a father with a dependent children regarded as basic social units. Based on what I've explained, we are now going to give room for examples.
Alright guys, now let us look at the pictures under functionalism, okay, or under functionalist view on gender. The first picture, it clearly shows that there's a male and a female, and they are seemingly both equal, but they are put under different shades. That shows that each person does his own thing. There are differences in terms of their gender roles. Functionalists believe that this is important because it contributes to maintain a stability within a society. The second picture, we see here a mother. It's just an emphasis of this. We see a female and a male. A female who is doing all the domestic work, and the male who we assume he is working outside the home or maybe in the office. As you can see the attire there, it's seemingly formal. So we can assume that he is working in an office, which shows that he is doing another role and the female is doing another role. But in all, they contribute to the maintenance of the society, because the father will come back with an income that is going to maintain the family in terms of food and all the expenses in the house, and also the work that the mother does also contributes in the maintenance of the household, because the house has to be clean. She takes care of the family, she takes care of the children. Yes. The last picture there, also another emphasis on what I've just mentioned, whereby you find the mother performing his duties as a woman, and the father, unfortunately, he is sick, and the mother is taking care of the father. That shows that the role that a mother plays is vital. Also, the role that a father plays is vital in the maintenance of the society and running of the family as a whole. Alright guys, for an example, functionalists believe in the intact nuclear family, which consists of a mother, father, and the dependents, which are children. So I've noticed in my local area that families that consist of these 3 key participants, like a mother and the father, then the children, normally, or in most cases, you find that they are stable in terms of finances and socially. The family operates pretty much well compared to a family with maybe one parent. This is because each individual in the family or in the society, it's vital that he or she plays his specific role or her specific role. For an example, in a family, so that things could be smoother and easier, it's important that a father plays the role of being a father. A mother plays his role as well as children, so that all these three key holders, when they contribute, they all
Let us look at the critics of the conflict theorist. Okay. Just the structural functionalism was criticized for focusing too much on the stability of societies. Conflict theory has been criticized because it tends to focus on conflicts to the exclusion of recognizing stability. Many social structures are extremely stable to have gradually progressed over time rather than changing shortly, as conflict theory would suggest. Most sociologists view culture as a key to gender. Simon de Beauvoir said that men and women are not born. We are created. We create ourselves. This implies that gender, like other culture values, norms and practices, are acquired through the process of socialization. Socialization is a complex process and a lifelong one. We never stop learning through social experiences. And sociologists have identified a number of settings that are particularly relevant to the socialization process.
The social conflict paradigm perceives society as being grossly unequal, and the different inequalities present give rise to conflict and change. The conflict theorists therefore have considered gender not only in terms of differences in behavior and task, but much more importantly in terms of differences in power. They challenge the belief of the functionalists that differentiation leads to order and stability, and they point out that gender relations are characterized by a struggle for power, in which women seek to redress the unequal power relationship and men try to protect their privileges.
Critiques of functionalism, basically on gender. First critique is the assumption of normative integration of different gender roles and interdependence of different gender. The second one, the utility and validity of idea of an equal interdependence of gender. Thirdly would be the assumption of dysfunctional of certain gender will impact on a society as a whole. Sometimes it's not the case. The notion of perfect integration of gender is not realistic. So basically, the functionalists went a bit as being not realistic on these ideas of functionalism, because it happens that you find that there are two gender roles, but there is no perfect integration between them. You find that one gender plays a different role and another plays a different role, but there is no normative integration. Basically, they are not being realistic about it, because you find that there is only one gender that exists, but there is stability within that family or within that household. You find that there are two gender roles that are being played in the family. You find the mother and the father, but you find that there is no stability in the family or in that household. I thank you for your time.
In conclusion, in this presentation, we have paid attention on the functionalist view on gender and also on the conflict theorist view on gender. All in all, what we can say is that it's your choice on how you view gender, whether you view it on the side of the functionalist or the conflict theorists, but seemingly they have been opposing in terms of their ideas, because the conflict theorists believe that men are dominant and women are subordinates, while the functionalist theorists believe that everybody should play their particular role in the society. So it is up to you viewers to decide on how you believe or how you view gender, whether on the views of the functionalist or the views of the conflict theorist. Thank you for your time and for your listening.
Kiss, guwe budi, ukiss ovutayo. Telo kiss, guwe budi, ukiss ovutayo. Gishu kiss ohamba negazi, isifuba shaye kancane, wehle njalo shone khona le. Gishu kiss ohamba negazi, isifuba shaye kancane, wehle njalo shone khona le. Telo thanda kuwe bhuti, uthando oluvuthayo. Telo thanda kuwe bhuti, uthando oluvuthayo. Ngisho uthando oluhamba negazi, inhliziyo eqhumela